Namaskar Bondhura, hi friends. Today we will continue learning about words associated with the sense organs. Today's sense organ is the nose, and the plan for today is to pick up some words associated with smell. First things first, let's have a look at words for the noun which means smell. The commonly used word is Gandho, and the much less common word coming from Sanskrit is ghran. You will probably not encounter the word ghran unless you are quoting some idiom like sentences, or you are reading some old text. But this forms a part of the Bengali vocabulary since we have so many Sanskrit words. But Gandho you should definitely remember. The first two words which you again will encounter when dealing with smells are Shugandho and Durgandho. Shugandho means nice smell or good smell. Durgandho means bad smell. Simply, just to divide smells into two parts. If it is nice smell, then it's Shugandho. If it's a bad smell, then it's a Durgandho. Now there are only very few specific words related to words describing smell per se. So we use general adjectives to describe smell, and there are quite a lot which are used. So I will cover them in a bit. But these two adjectives, because they have the word Gandho, which means smell in them, so these mean nice smell and bad smell. So these words are specific to smell. The next words will be more general. The first one is Shundar. Shundar means beautiful. Now the way to use this as an exact adjective, like the way you use adjectives, so if you want to use Shundar to describe a smell, you will say Shundar Gandho. You will add the word Gandho, which is the noun, after the word Shundar, which is the adjective. So Shundar meaning beautiful, Shundar Gandho means beautiful smelling or nice smelling. You can also use Bhalo, which is the general word for good, or you can say Darun, which is the word for super or very good. So Darun Gandho, Bhalo Gandho, these are also possible. On the opposite camp, these are the words Bisri or Bichiri, Baje, Kharab. All of these are adjectives. All of them can be used in generic sense. We will later see what other sense they can be used in. But if you suffix them with the word Gandho, then they become ill smelling. Like Baje Gandho means a bad smell. Kharab Gandho means a bad smell. Mondo is a much milder term. Mondo means not good. Like Baje, Kharab, Bisri, Bichiri, these have a very strong negative connotation. Mondo is kind of a milder term for bad. So Mondo Gandho is not that common, but just because we are covering all of the negative words, I thought you can just put this into your vocabulary toolkit as well. Now, these are the words, the ones which we are going to cover now. These are the words which will describe the intensity of the smell. So the earlier words which we covered were good or bad. Like they describe the kind of smell, good or bad. This describes the intensity of the smell. So jhajhalo means a strong smell. Notice that the N's are in bracket, so they are not pronounced fully. In written script, they are written with Chandra Bindus, and they are pronounced as Jhajhalo. Jhajhalo. Jhajhalo means strong smell. A mild smell is Halka. Halka Gandho is a mild smell. Jhajhalo Gandho is a strong smell. Now we talked about घ्राण in the beginning. So घ्राण also means smell. So we have this idiom which says घ्राणे अर्ध भोजन, which means half of the meal is in the smell. Now the reason I added this, because you will see the words which we learned for taste, some of those words are used for smell as well. For example, mishti means sweet, but if we suffix mishti with gandho, mishti gandho, it becomes sweet smell. Also, in case of smell, we can use it twice. For example, we can say mishti mishti gandho, which means it is sort of a sweet smell. Mishti gandho is sweet smell, mishti mishti gandho is sweetish smell. Then there's the word tok, which means sour. We can say tok gandho, which means a soury smell, or we can say tok tok gandho, which means sort of a sour smell. Okay, so these are the two words which actually belong to the category of taste, but we can use them to describe smells as well. The last word in this list is pocha. Pocha. Pocha means rotten. Now pocha can generally mean rotten. Pocha am. We can say pocha am, which means a rotten mango. Pocha torkari, which means rotten vegetable. But we can also say pocha gandho, which means a rotten smell coming from something. I mean, it can be from any sort of rotten smell. You can say it, describe it as a pocha gandho. And this I couldn't fit into any of the other categories, but it's one of the most beautiful smells. So petrichor or shoda in Bengali. Why I mislabeled the table. Anyway, shoda is the Bengali word. Petrichor is the English word. So shoda means the smell which comes out of the ground just before it rains. Like when it rains a little, and then there's this beautiful smell which comes out of the ground. That smell is, in Bengali, it's called shoda gandho. Now let's have a look at some examples. রজনীগন্ধার খুব সুন্দর গন্ধ. Notice there is no verb in the Bengali sentence, so you are just putting the subject plus object form here. The verb is, since the verb is has in the English sentence, which is a form of the infinitive, there is no Bengali verb here. So রজনীগন্ধার গন্ধ, which means tuberoses smell. খুব সুন্দর explains the, খুব সুন্দর means very beautiful, and it explains, it's a adjective for the word gandho, which is smell. So we saw that shundor, which means beautiful, can be used as an adjective for gandho. We can also have khub shundor, which means very beautiful. So রজনীগন্ধার খুব সুন্দর গন্ধ means tuberose has a very beautiful smell. On the opposite side, if you want to say that there's a bad smell, you can use this. তোমার মুখে পেঁয়াজের বিচ্ছিরি ঝাঁঝালো গন্ধ. তোমার মুখে, in your mouth, পেঁয়াজের, onions, বিচ্ছিরি ঝাঁঝালো গন্ধ. There's a bad, strong, pungent smell of onions coming from your mouth. তোমার মুখে পেঁয়াজের বিচ্ছিরি ঝাঁঝালো গন্ধ. Now notice that bichiri and jhajhalo, those are two different adjectives. They can be just put next to each other. Now generally speaking, we will have the kind of smell which is bichiri before the intensity of the smell. So in natural order we will say bichiri jhajhalo gandho and not jhajhalo bichiri gandho. That just doesn't sound very natural. In case of khub shundar, it's a different thing, because shundar means beautiful and khub means very. So it's a adjective and an adverb which has that specific order. But in case of bichiri jhajhalo gandho, they are two separate adjectives just in the sentence next to each other. So in certain cases you should be able to interchange bichiri and jhajhalo, but I'm just giving you the general natural order in which these words are used. So we generally go for bichiri jhajhalo gandho and not jhajhalo bichiri gandho. Okay. Jhajhalo, which means strong, can be used in a positive sense also. For example, in this sentence, মাংসর দারুণ ঝাঁঝালো গন্ধ তো, মাংসর দারুণ ঝাঁঝালো গন্ধ তো, which means the meat has a very strong spicy smell, a superly strong smell coming out of the dish. Okay, so again notice that the kind of the smell, darun, which means super or nice or good or very good, comes before jhajhalo, which is the intensity of the smell. Now one maybe to, if you see that there's a word at the end to. Now to is does not have a specific meaning, but to is a very common word which Bengalis insert at different places in the statement. At this point, just take it as an emphasizer word. So even without the to at the end, the sentence is complete. So you can say মাংসর দারুণ ঝাঁঝালো গন্ধ, which means the meat has a strong spicy smell. The to is actually acting as that exclamation at the end of the sentence. So it is an emphasizer. Take it like that. And since ঘ্রাণে অর্ধ ভোজন, which means the smell is half of the meal, so you will see sentences like this as well. So gandho, though it means smell, but it can make your mouth water as well. So we have sentences like this: মাংসের গন্ধে জিভে জল আসে. Jiv means tongue, jol is water. So literally this sentence means that the smell of meat brings water to my tongue, which implies that the smell of meat makes my mouth water. মাংসর গন্ধে জিভে জল আসে. Now today's bit of Bong culture, Gandho Bichaar, is the poem by Sukumar Rai. Now it's a big poem. These are the two lines which I thought was most and the entire poem is about smells. So it's about, okay, let's first read this and then I'll explain what the poem is about. বললো রাজা, মন্ত্রী তোমার জামায় কেন গন্ধ? মন্ত্রী বলে, এসেন্স দিছি, গন্ধ তো নয় মন্দ। বললো রাজা, মন্ত্রী তোমার জামায় কেন গন্ধ? The king said, Minister, why is there a smell emanating from your clothes? মন্ত্রী বলে, এসেন্স দিছি, গন্ধ তো নয় মন্দ। So the minister says, I sprayed perfume, the smell isn't bad. So the poem continues that the king asks all of his different courtiers to come and check the smell which is coming from the minister's clothes, and everyone comes up with a different excuse of not doing so. Someone says, oh, I have a runny nose. Someone said, oh, I just got up from a a fever yesterday and I cannot smell anything, and all sorts of innovative excuses. And the poem is a funny one. It's a pretty long one, so that's the context. For today's homework, help me describe the following smells. The first one is gulab or rose, and the second one is petrol. How are you going to describe the smell of these two substances? For people who are outside of India, petrol is also called gasoline. This is the word list for today. Come back and have a look whenever you need to. That's all for today. Thank you for listening in. সবাই ভালো থেকো, আবার দেখা হবে. Everyone stay well. We will meet again soon.